there's no doubt that we live in complex ecosystems, and we do not like the idea of them. We've developed these bizarre establishments called cities. And in these cities, we have removed ourselves from nature. And, if you go to the mountains of Colorado, people are well aware of mountain lions. They're well aware of bears. They have to lock their garbage up. They have they have like a neighborhood email list where they talk about like bears broke into this guy's car and everybody's on the lookout. But they understand they're living in this system. They're living in this ecosystem. Yeah. Most people in the United States that live in urban areas have no idea that they're in an ecosystem because we've essentially done some very bizarre stuff and isolated ourselves from nature, which is one of the reasons why we have this strange idea that we are not animals and that we are not a part of nature. Yeah. It's just weird. We're fucking weird. We're weird in our justifications. We're weird in what we allow ourselves to do.
Yeah, that's back to the chimpanzees. That was one of the things that I just couldn't ever, I couldn't ever connect with this woman, Tanya, that kept this chimp and tried to explain to her, that we are chimps, effectively. And, and she just, took the page out of, Genesis, where she just said, I'm not, we're not animals. This is an animal and I can own it like property. Anyway, that was just one of the things she just never really fully understood.
Well, to be kind, she's not bright. She's not a bright woman, not a well-read woman, unfortunately. And this seems to be part of the theme of all these folks, which is weird, And then you got the one guy in Tiger King that's essentially running like a little sex cult. Right, that guy.
Doc Antle.
Yeah, and then you've got the Tiger King himself.
Joe.
You got Joe Exotic, who is also kind of running a strange little sex cult. But, he's just got all this personality, and he's so interesting and fascinating. And if he wasn't in jail, it's really unfortunate, because if he wasn't in jail, he'd be a very popular person.
He hasn't even seen the
show,
Can you
imagine?
Yeah.
If he was,
well, he's trying to get Donald Trump to exonerate him, and pardon him. I mean, he was constantly, after I had talked about Tiger King.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I get messages from that guy. I don't know how he's giving me messages. I'm assuming it's someone who works for him.
Yeah.
But I get messages all the time. Like, you've got to help get him out, put him on your podcast, do this, do that. Like,
well, he also has communication in jail. He gets somehow he's able to get a phone. He's doing video calls and stuff.
Well, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But
there was a moment. There was a moment when we were filming this kind of like second installment of Tiger King where we covered this pardon, the presidential pardon. There's a real shot where Joe was actually on a list, supposedly, that Trump was going to like
hilarious.
It's hilarious.
So I don't remember exactly what the specifics of his accusation. So was he caught trying to hire someone to whack that lady?
Yeah.
He was.
Twice, yeah.
And that lady, is there any truth to this idea that she whacked her husband?
Carol Baskin. There's a lot of circumstantial, I wouldn't say maybe evidence, but it's sort of who else?
It's not clean.
Who else? And it was either, it feels as if it was her or members of her family, and they were the only ones to gain. And so, yeah.
A great way to dispose of a body.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how she disposed of the body. It's nice to.
Well, you have meat grinders on the premises, and you have enormous predators.
But
on premises,
I think
feed them a tiger.
Don't you think the only thing I would say, Eric, is the circumstances surrounding the change in the will? I mean, who alters it to account for disappearance?
Upon my disappearance.
It's a very, very strange.
No one says that. Yeah.
And isn't there like a disparity in the handwriting as well?
Yeah, we did handwriting experts. We did the entire thing. To prove otherwise.
It's also just when she talks about it.
But Joe, back to Joe, Joe Exotic. I was on the phone with him a lot up until he was convicted. From prison, and he just was convinced he was going to be exonerated and not convicted. And the feds offered him a deal, which was something like 6 or 7 years. You know, you can plea or you can go to court.
He'd probably be out by now.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, he'd be out now. And so he was so convinced that he was going to win, which is so delusional. But yeah, poor Joe would be out right now had he made that deal.
By the way, how crazy is that you could plot to kill somebody? They let you out in 4 years. Like, I know you've been locked up with a bunch of murderers and thieves, but I'm sure you're a better person now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's plot and
You've
then
learned.
intent. You know, paying someone to go do something.
Right. There's quite a few steps involved.
But
Yeah.
yes, Joe's now pro-Trump again. He was pro-Biden when
Was he?
Trump
Yeah.
didn't
Because he was trying to get Biden to pardon him. They wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole, but Trump
Yeah.
might.
Yeah.
Especially this time around.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Well, let's hope Tanya doesn't go to prison. I don't wish that on Tanya.
I haven't seen episode 4, so I don't know. But when you guys were filming, again, spoiler alert, please, if you're watching the series, stop right now and scoot ahead by a few minutes. When they found that Tonka was in the basement, and when I saw when you guys are filming it, I was like, Jesus Christ, this lady is so crazy. She's showing everybody.
I know.
She has,
I know.
with like all due respect, she just does not seem like a smart person, and she's almost like if you gave her an IQ test, and then gave a chimp an IQ test, it'd be a toss-up. You know, I mean, I think that's part of the problem. I don't think this lady understands the consequences of what she's doing, just like she doesn't understand how crazy her eyelashes look. You know, like all of it is just, there's some fuses that are missing, some wires that aren't connected. Yeah. And then because of the fact that at one point in time, at least, it was illegal for her to do what she was doing. And they become accustomed to being able to have, and then their identity revolves around they're the person that has all the monkeys and all the chimpanzees. It was just fucking weird.
Well, it's still legal. It's still legal.
I thought they changed it.
No, there's no federal law preventing ownership
Jesus
of chimpanzees.
Christ, you can own a fucking chimp
Correct.
still?
There's 20 or so states legally you can do it.
Oh my God! I thought
Missouri's one of them.
Oh my God!
But background. We spent about 4 years making this documentary series.
First of all, how'd you start? How do you find out about these people?
Go ahead.
And how do you get after Tiger King? How do you get anybody to talk to you on camera?
I've known a lot of animal people, Joe, but I did not know about monkey moms. And along the course of making Tiger King, I started filming some monkey moms, and I mean, like as you see in Chimp Crazy, you just can't make them up. And so after Tiger King, I just thought, let's scratch the surface. Let's check into these monkey moms again. And so it's these women that dress up their monkeys like dolls, like Joan Benet Ramsey, like a little pageant doll, and they want them to be kids. And they seem to have the same pathology over and over and over. There's a lot of monkey moms out there that we did not film, and they have annually something called a monkey ball, where they all come together with their monkeys. Anyway, we discovered them in the course of making Tiger King, and
my grandmother had a monkey.
Yeah, we hear
My
the story a
grandmother
lot.
had a monkey.
Yeah, we hear the story a lot.
That she kept in the attic.
Really?
Yeah, the monkey's name was Chi-Chi, and Chi-Chi used to eat gum. So you could give Chi-Chi a piece of gum. Chi-Chi would unwrap the gum and put the gum in his mouth or her mouth. I don't remember if it was a boy or a girl.
Do you know what kind of monkey?
I do not. I was
Okay.
very small.
Yeah.
I was very young at the time, and I remember she had to get rid of it because it bit my cousin.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Chi-Chi couldn't be around anybody other than my grandmother.
Yeah.
My grandmother was very eccentric.
Yeah, and they're territorial, and they're protective of their owner.
Uh-huh.
So when I was young in the 70s and 60s, 70s, 80s, you could buy a monkey in virtually any pet store across the United States.
Oh my God!
And thank God people realized, like your grandmother, they're not good pets.
You could buy them in the newspaper.
And they're not good pets.
Well, I think my grandmother, after her kids were grown, she just decided she wanted a kid forever. If I had to guess.
Wow.
Yeah, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
No, that's our kind of consensus on a lot of it. It's,
Also, a kid that doesn't talk back.
Yeah. It's a great book you'd love. It's by this guy who had a store in New York, Henry Treflick. It's called They Don't Talk Back. And and it's these kind of chronicles of his experiences, you know, through the last, you know,
This was a
40s,
big
70s.
exotic animal dealership that existed up until the 70s in New York City. But they had everything: chimps, gorillas, elephants, and they sold stuff to the private sector and zoos. But yeah,
I mean, you could walk into a Woolworth, right, and buy monkeys.
They still, to this day, catch people with large animals in their apartments in New York City.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't there one real recently where a guy had a large reptile?
Venomous snakes, yeah. Right?
Was it snakes?
The venomous snake bite, Eric?
Some guy.
remember.
Well, there's that one guy. I think it was in Harlem who had a tiger in his house.
Yeah.
And there's a crazy image of the cops going up the fire escape and the tiger's in the window.
Yeah.
And you see the tiger baring its fangs in the window. And you're like, that glass is that fucking thin, man. That is so crazy. That this thing is trapped in this like regular apartment with regular glass.
Yeah.
Like at any moment, the only thing keeping that thing out is it doesn't know that it could just smash that and get on that fire escape and just go run through the streets.
Yeah.
It just,
Crazy.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But the bizarre thing is that there's humans that want those. They want those.
Yeah.
I mean,
the tiger thing is more of like kind of a macho thing, I think. If I had to,
what about Carol then? She's a woman.
Yeah, she's kind of an anomaly. You know, it's funny.
But she liked the lesser known cats.
I
right?
interviewed Tippi Hedren, in the course of doing all of this, and her, Xanadu. It's called Shambhala with all of her cats. And I know you've talked about this about Melanie Griffith growing up with lions.
And that crazy movie Roar.
Yeah. And that movie
great.
Roar.
The bed photograph is fantastic.
Oh my God, that movie Roar. But yeah, when I interviewed Tippi Hedren, literally on her property in California, she lives with all these tigers and lions. She built a museum for herself. So she's got her own museum, the Tippi Hedren Museum, where I interviewed her. But yeah, there are some women, Tippi Hedren, Carol Baskin, but
mostly a macho thing.
Generally speaking, I think it's more men. Yeah.
Well, I guarantee if you go through the Texas private collections, there's a bunch of good old boys.
Yeah. Exactly.
I believe that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Got some oil money.
You've got canned ranches in Texas.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah,
There's a lot of canned ranches, which is very odd, and some of them are fairly small, like a couple 100 acres.
Yeah.
And they keep animals there.
Yeah.
It's in my mind, what that is agriculture. Okay, it's just you're doing a different form of deer agriculture. You're not really hunting. Hunting to me is you go into the wild, you go into the woods, and you experience real nature, and it's fascinating. It's enthralling. There's something about. It's also so lonely. There's something about being in those mountains just puts you in check. None of that exists in a canned ranch.
Yeah, canned ranch, you can go shoot, like in South Africa, a lion.
Right.
And the lion was raised in a kind of domestic situation.
And recently released.
Yeah, so it just sits there.
Yeah.
There's no sport in it. Hunting in the United States, for elk or deer, there's a lot of things people don't know about hunting, which is, one, just obviously, obvious statistic is that more wild lands are protected because of hunting. So, you're killing a deer, but you're protecting all the other stuff.
They used to have the strongest man competitions all the time on ESPN.
Yeah.
Well, those dudes were like
so
holding
cool.
onto cars.
Oh,
they had the
the
cars
best
on the
of-
ramps.
Oh, so
the
cool.
cross.
Yeah, the big stones and Atlas stones. It was so great.
It was fun.
Yeah, I watched them all the time in the 90s. And then actually my dad was, in 1980 at the Playboy Club, he was with Bill Kazmaier when he did the silver dollar deadlift. It was
What's the silver dollar deadlift?
He had like 900 something pounds of these like clear boxes, and they were filled with silver dollars.
Oh, wow.
And it was super cool. And so there's like an iconic lift, and Pops was like hanging out with those cats. But it's funny because there's like an old picture of him, and I'm pretty sure, he was obviously training that day. I think he was partying pretty hard too. So he looked straight off of a ripper, and I was like, man, the 80s were awesome. It looked like he looked like Magnum PI. It was awesome.
Yeah, they were just learning things.
Oh,
It was
man.
the pioneer days, basically.
Jeez, it was so cool.
You always knew that if you were watching The Strongest Man, if the dude's name was Magnus, he was
Yeah.
going to fuck things up.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
always some Magnus
Is it for
character.
Magnuson, a Samuelson, if there's some sons involved?
One of those guys is fighting MMA. He's been fighting at Mariusz Pudzianowski.
Oh, I remember Maris.
Yeah, he went from being a strongman to being like
Terrifying.
a really good MMA fighter.
I could see that.
In the beginning, he was getting fucked up, but he
Sure.
tried to dive in right away. Like he tried to fight. God, God, he fought some good fighters like right away.
When Marius was at the height, because we used to do a lot with the Arnold
He
Strongman
fought Tim
Classic.
Sylvia. That's who
Oh
he
my
fought.
gosh, did he?
He fought Tim Sylvia like really early on. Like when Tim, so he fought
Yeah.
Tim Sylvia in his third pro fight, and he got the
Yikes.
fuck beaten out of him.
Yeah, well, that'll happen.
Like that was just.
But I never.
And then he fought
forget-
Butterbean. He beat Butterbean. He lost to James Thompson, and he beat
Sad.
James Thompson. Oh well, no contest. It says. Yeah.
What a stud.
Fought Bob Sapp. That was when Bob Sapp was like taking some kind of
My
dives.
My buddy used to train with Bob.
Holes Gracie beat Holes Gracie. Yeah, he knocked Holes Gracie
Jeez.
out. Yeah, so he's had like a bunch
Yeah.
of like legit MMA fights.
Yeah, Pujanowski was like one of the first guys I ever saw that was that big that had like vascular lats. So we were in the backstage, and it was kind of weird because like he was considerably bigger the year than before, and I think even taller too. I was like, this guy wasn't. I was just like, well, there you go.
How did he get taller?
I was like, that's why I was questioning.
He's
I was like,
on all kinds of
I don't
crazy
remember him being taller. Like,
That's
as
amazing.
My height, but it was
Homeboy
really
got
weird.
taller. Look at the
Seriously.
size
Well,
of that
yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah, he was backstage, and everyone was like big, but it was like Marius is in a whole different category.
Oh, he was a tank.
On
See if you can
multiple
find
levels.
him now, though. He's slimmed down considerably. He still looks fucking huge. But as an MMA fighter now, he's See there, see. Click on that
Yeah,
picture. No,
he's
the
still-
other one.
He's still terrifying.
Go. What above it? Right above it.
That's not new. That's old.
Yeah, but what year is that?
I don't know. It's clearly old though. 22.
Oh, because it's
22
blurry.
years old. Yeah.
Does it say
He's
that
on
it's
a
22 years
potato
old?
can.
2002.
Oh, okay. See if you can find some footage of him actually fighting. Maybe there's some. I'm sure he's got some highlight. There he is, right there. So he's on his knees. Oh, here we go. So he's still stiff, but he's got good
Yeah.
technique, and he's got a lot of power, man.
Yeah, look at the muscles on the back of his neck. He looks like one of those bucks during the rut when
Yeah.
their necks blow up really
Yeah,
big.
but at least like he's throwing correctly, hands up
Yeah.
high, and this is all technical work here.
Well, it's
But-
like Brian Shaw's been doing a little bit of sparring with Derek Wolf.
Oh Jesus!
How terrible is that?
What does he weigh? 390?
I don't know. I mean, I know he was up to 440 something at one point. My dad is actually who got him into strongman. He came by our booth at 18 years old, and my dad was like, "Hey, you're really strong. You should like get into this."
Yeah, he should be on another planet. You're too big. You're
is
too big
just-
for this planet.
Yeah, he was probably 240 when we
that
met
makes
him.
me believe in the Anunnaki.
Right.
You know, you
right.
see
There's actually
giants that are that like what happened?
100%.
How'd you get so big?
Those dudes. You remember Cleve Dean? You ever remember that guy?
No, who's he?
So he was an old, they called him like a pig farmer. He was the one that won the original World's Strongest Man, but he was an arm wrestling champion. And it was like all those old, like weird, it's like 440 pound, like just giant farmer. Yeah, there he
Whoa.
goes. Yeah, that cat.
Oh, why is that poor little fellow arm wrestling?
I mean, look how big that human is.
Jesus Christ! Look at his hand.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Look at that photo. That's Big Daddy Goodridge.
Yeah.
It was an MMA fighter. Look at that. The hand holding the table in the front. Look at the size of that fucking thing.
Wild, right?
Yeah. If you could teach that guy how to throw a jab, he'd fuck a lot of people up.
I would like to see a fight between him and Andre the Giant.
Oh God.
That'd have been awesome.
Definitely wouldn't be long.
Right, right.
It
Did
probably
you ever
can't
meet
go very
Andre?
long. No, I did not.
That'd have been cool.
Yeah, I would like to have met him. Don't be scared, homie.com. Shout out to Nate Diaz, victorious.
Man,
Shout out to Anthony Pettis,
Yep.
a gladiator.
it was a good fight.
It was a great fight.
I totally agree with the outcome.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Nate won that fight for sure.
I
Nate's a
was
goddamn superstar.
complimented when I walked into Dana's green room and was told I smelled like I just came from Nate Diaz's camp.
Did you see the video of him in the open workout?
Yes, it was amazing. I love that, man.
Thank God for that
The
guy.
fucks given is like at an all-time low.
All-time low. Thank God for that guy. He's so important.
Just be you.
Yeah. Love that guy. That's what he's doing. I mean, he's fighting for the baddest motherfucker.
That was
in
at
the game
170,
belt.
right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, fuck cutting weight. He doesn't need to cut weight. But I love when he's talking about fighting for the baddest motherfucker in the game belt. How am I gonna
So that's
defend
the
this
belt he's referring
against?
to. Okay.
Yes.
Because
When he
I was like,
said-
this was for a belt? It
No,
was only
no,
3
no.
rounds. I was like, wait a minute. I'm so confused.
I was thinking about.
I was a little high and
explaining-
drunk myself.
No, I was thinking about trying to get him to explain that to people, but I was like, I'm gonna just let him go. I don't even want to get in the way of this.
I'm glad I know now what belt he's talking about.
Yeah, he's talked about it multiple times.
That's
since
a
then.
great fight he called out,
But he
though.
said that. He said, defend this belt. And I was like, oh, okay, he's talking about the baddest motherfucker in the game belt. And I thought he was going to say it. But I probably should have asked him what belt it was.
No, it's more beautiful like that. There's like this. No, it's perfect. It's like an Easter egg.
Dude, what a great name. The baddest motherfucker in the game, belt. We should be so happy that guy's a real thing. We should be so happy.
And that fight, it would be amazing.
Yeah, man. That would be incredible. Masvidal's a straight-up murderer. He's a straight-up murderer. So is Nate. That would be chaos. That would be chaos. And those two guys want to do it. Those are two, just wild dogs going at it. Those guys are both, like, to the core. They're fighters to the core. There's no quit in either one of those guys. That's a wild fight, man. Especially right now, like financially, that's an amazing fight right now. People would pay a lot of money to see that fight. Masvidal and Nate Diaz, those are two guys that are like the most exciting and most talked about guys in the sport right now. If those guys decided to fucking smash horns, woo! God.
It looked like they were more than willing.
Yeah, I hope they make that.
That would be an amazing fight.
Hope they make that happen. That'll be goddamn bananas. And maybe one of them will come out to jump around.
If they pick something shitty enough.
No, at their level, I think they get to pick their own music. As long as they don't have, like...
Yeah, but we're talking about, wait. But Lyoto Machida.
Yeah.
Like, why? I want to know the story behind that. One day I'm going to corner Dana when we're like, when he's not the fucking busiest dude on earth.
Yeah.
And be like, what the fuck,
What
dude?
happened there?
What song did he pick that you
Which
were
fight
mad?
was that? Which Lyoto fight was that?
I don't know, man. I'm sure somebody knows.
But I wonder if he won. Because that would be interesting to see if he fucked with his vibe.
I'm not sure. I think he did. Because I keep track of shit like that. Because it's fucking, I hate it almost when somebody, because one of my favorite guys, oh my God, the beard, super duper friends with Tate.
Keith Jardine?
Thank you.
Says Weidman.
The Dean of Mean.
Dean of Mean.
Keith Jardine. He came out to my version of fucking Folsom Prison, and I was so jacked about it. And he lost that fight, and I felt like it made me feel horrible. Like, oh man, my song.
Oh, this is Chris Weidman when he fought Lyoto Machida. Oh, that's when it
this
was.
is the fight.
That's when Lyoto. See, you put the kibosh on Lyoto.
Oh, so he let's see.
Yeah.
See, look, man, I didn't ask for that. I didn't fucking ask for that, dude. I don't need that pressure.
That wasn't going to save him.
Don't pick my shit.
A song wasn't going to save him.
You know what I mean?
That's one of those weird ones. It's like, how bad is the song? That you won't let a person pick their own song?
That's what I want to know.
It's not that much time. It's only like the walk to the octagon is not a full song. It's not like 3 minutes.
But
it's
all
so
those Brazilian
offensive.
guys always come out to that, you know what I mean? Like fucking, they come out to the fucking wildest music, some of those dudes.
Not
The
Jose
axe
Aldo.
murderer used to come out to some real
yeah.
questionable fucking like Dutch disco house.
He did. He came out to like raw techno.
You crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. Dutch disco.
Swedish house mafia.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Crazy.
That's exactly what he's coming out to. Like,
Like overtly, like over the top too.
The number
Sandstorm.
one worst walkout song. It says.
I said not the number one worst work.
My favorite was when Randy Couture came out to Ted Nugent's Stranglehold. I was like, if there is ever a song that's like design like that seems like that's a fight playing song. Like you're about to have a fight, that's the song you want playing. Stranglehold. Michael Chiesa uses that too. A couple guys use Stranglehold now. That's a song like Stranglehold. And it's one of those songs.
Anything by AC/DC.
Oh yeah. Thunderstruck.
Come out to a fight, cool,
Yeah.
Just that gets Angus's tone on the guitar. It's over.
Yeah.
You got anger.
Yeah. Right?
Got some nice.
I'm on the highway to hell. Rich Franklin used to come out to Thunderstruck when he was the middleweight champion. Thunderstruck. Is that the song he came out to? I know he definitely came out to an AC/DC song. Now
I think it is. It feels like right.
Questioning. Might
That
be
was
wrong.
big, like right then too.
Yeah. AC/DC is like one of those bands where you hear like 3 or 4 chords. You're like, AC/DC. Like instantly. Like for sure.
Angus Young, again, his guitar tone.
Yeah.
And just,
The song was called "For Those About to Rock."
oh, he came out
That's
to
what
For
he came out
Those
to?
About to Rock.
But didn't he come out to Thunderstruck too? I think when he fought Anderson Silva, he came out to Thunderstruck.
UFC 126. He did "For Those About."
Which fight was that? Who was he fighting? I think for sure he came out to Thunderstruck. At least
Google
once.
is your
But
friend.
he was a
Forrest
AC/DC
Griffin.
dude. Oh, when he fought Forrest Griffin, he was an AC/DC. I would really like cross promotion fights. You know, I really would.
Bellator just did it with Ryzen.
Yeah.
You know, and what's your take on that?
I think it'd be good for everybody. Like I said, I'm obsessed with Douglas Lima fighting at 170 pounds.
Have you not seen Patricio fight?
Yes, I'm obsessed
Okay.
with Patricio too. But I feel like right now 145 in the UFC is so fucking talent stacked.
Yes.
I'm comfortable with some of these matchups that I want to see. I really am interested in seeing a rematch between Volkanovski and Max Holloway.
Yeah.
I think Max Holloway, with just a few adjustments, checking those leg kicks
Yeah.
and maybe a little bit more movement, I think he can win that fight. But I think Volkanovski, with a few adjustments, might be able to put on an even better performance. And now that he's beaten the GOAT featherweight, I mean, who knows? I mean, a lot of guys, you don't really see what they're capable of until they win the title, and then you see the confidence take over. I mean, I think cross promotion with all the champions would be fantastic. I mean, look, I'm a terrible business person.
Obviously.
I'd promote everybody. I'd be like, fuck yeah, Bellator, let's be friends. I'll blow you guys up too. I don't think the way the UFC does is sort of an isolationist perspective. Like when Fedor was a champion, they would get bummed out that I kept mentioning him. When Fedor was over in Pride, and I was like, you got to take into consideration Fedor Emelianenko. I mean, he might be the best fucking heavyweight alive. And there was a lot of guys over there that were fucking phenomenal fighters, and we absorbed a few of them, and there was some problems with that. You know, obviously there was problems with the fact that the contracts that they got from Pride, a lot of them weren't real. So, you know, we thought we had Fedor and we didn't. We thought we had a lot of guys. They had to just put him under new contracts. Mark Hunt was a good example. He wrote out his contract. And then there was a problem with supplements. You know, a lot of those guys were on the Mexican juice.
But because it wasn't in the contract. I fought over there and it said we do not test for steroids, like in the contract. And
Ensign Inoue told me that it was in a giant bold print.
it was. It was. It actually was.
Yeah.
I want to even say it was underlined.
Yeah.
It was like, no, look, so I agree with cross promotion. I
Yes.
want to see that. I 100% want to see that. But I also think, though, too, you got to look out for all promotions. If we're going to cross promote, let's not have champion versus champion. Let's have your number 2 guy versus this number 3 guy. Let's
Sure.
make the best fight.
Here's the thing. Do you think it would hurt the UFC? Because I don't know if it would. I think it would definitely help Bellator, but I don't know. First of all, I hate the name Bellator.
I think everyone did, and honestly, I think everyone did. It was true. I mean, but here's the thing: like they'd already spent millions,
I understand.
probably close to over $1 billion, in trying to make sure that it was marketed properly back then.
Mm-hmm.
When Scott came in, it's like, let's not try to rebrand this. And Scott's brilliant when it comes to doing these type of things. But you notice how he got rid of he made it very simple. The logo is simple. Everything is simple now, and it's easier to say, oh, that's our logo right there,
Right.
versus this big word that says with like I don't even know what it was behind. It was like a Bellator fighter or whatever it was. Yeah, it went away, gone.
Yeah.
So look, in all these things, it takes time to get branded.
Do you remember King of the Cage when they used to have the King of the Cage, a giant bodybuilder dude?
Yes.
Who was like the mascot?
Yep.
Remember how strange that was?
Shout out to Terry Trovocock, dude. That
Yes.
guy. Look, he's been around forever.
Still around. Terry's
Still
still
doing his
around.
thing, though,
Still
man.
doing
And you got to
promotions.
appreciate guys like that.
Yes.
Because even though he's not getting rich, but he's also making sure that young and up and coming fighters have a way to
Yes.
get their name out there and still fight at a high level.
Well, Bud Brutzman was one of the owners as well. He's a really good friend of mine. He actually sold him my old house. He lives in my old house. He's a real good friend of mine.
I never met him, I don't think, but
Bud and Terry were partners in that venture. And they used to have this guy who was this enormous fucking bald bodybuilder dude who was the king of the cage.
Yeah.
And he was like a mascot.
Yep.
You remember? It was so
I do remember.
strange.
He was always wearing like a dry fit shirt or like a
Yes.
really tight,
Jacked.
yeah.
Big
And-
old fucking neck, bald guy, huge muscles.
Yep.
But it was so strange. It was like, but he's not the fighter. This
No.
is so weird. Like you have a mascot.
Yeah. Hey, whatever, man. Everyone's
But a
got to try
mascot.
something different.
Mascots are weird for it's a fighting mascot. Because remember the UFC had the dude who was the bald, muscular guy in the logo. Do you remember that?
Was that you?
No, he was a lot bigger than me. It was more like Boss Rutan. It looked like Boss Rutan. Do you remember the early days of the UFC? The
Yes.
logo had this guy who was this bald jack dude.
Yeah.
And that was like a part of the UFC logo, was some bald dude.
Yeah, I do remember that. I
It
do
was
remember
weird.
that.
And it looked like Boss. Like when Boss won the title, I was like, is this destined for you?
Yeah.
Like, look at this. It was real weird. There it is. Look at the fucking old logo.
Yeah, that's true.
How weird is that? No one like that ever won the title up until Boss.
But that's like, so when Scott came in, he changed the logo to make
Yes.
it simple, like basically what Dana and Lorenzo and those guys did. Basically made it simple like
Yes,
that.
yeah.
So I think it's good for the sport. We'll see. Like, look, the name itself is like, hey, do we want to rebrand this? No, you don't want to waste all the money you did trying to rebrand a new organization.
Right.
That's just too hard. And at the end of the day, it's. The execs talk and they're like, hey, let's just try and make some changes, make it simple, and make everyone just fall in love with us all over again, but, for a different reason. The other thing, too, even though we are doing a tournament format for our fights, we're not doing them every, like Bellator before was doing them every Friday, different weight class, and I never paid attention because it was just too hectic to try and keep up. Now you have big fights scheduled, every, once a month, with the tournament fighters. So, like this weekend we have Cyborg fighting Julia Budd for the title, which
Very
is
good fight.
phenomenal,
Very
man.
underlooked fight. Yeah, Julia Budd's a monster.
She's an animal, and I mean, and it's funny because everyone just keeps overlooking her, and
She's so jacked.
and she's not only is she jacked, her wrestling's gotten a lot better. And I need to remind you guys, her only 2 losses have been to Amanda Nunes and Ronda Rousey when Ronda Rousey was at the top of her game. Now, those 2 losses, those 2 were extremely early in her career. She's been on a tear ever since then, and she's been doing phenomenal. Again, talking with John, him and I have talked. It's her confidence. Her confidence needs to be at a different level.
Look at the fucking guns on that
Jesus.
chick. Jesus Christ.
Her striking, I think, is better than Cyborg.
Really?
Now, yes, I think it's better.
Really?
Her striking's better than Cyborg.
Dude,
now,
that's a bold statement.
can she take a shot from Cyborg? Who knows? But I think there's a lot to be said. Like, Cyborg doesn't throw the straightest punches in the world.
Right.
She throws a lot of hooks. So if Julia can push her to the fence, get inside the clinch, make her get in that dirty boxing, get rid of those loopy punches, and be inside that pocket right there, then I think she's got a good chance.
Well, after Cyborg got flatlined by Amanda Nunes, the whole game just changed.
Yeah.
Everything changed.
Yeah,
you
it
realize,
threw everybody off.
Okay. Yeah. Well, first of all, Nunes has fucking hammers. That lady throws hammers. It's crazy. It's crazy how fucking badass she is.
I look at it, though, too, that Cyborg had been undefeated for so long, hadn't lost in so long, that she's just like, I'm just going to walk through this chick. And it just cost her. I think her confidence was that none of these girls can hurt me. I could beat her, and when she got hit, I'm going to hit you back. She was thinking she was going to impose her will like she did against everyone else.
Right.
Okay. And she's going to try to do the same thing to Julia Budd.
Right.
And it's a matter of how Julia Budd responds. And we're going to know, I think, in that first round, whether Julia is going to rise to the occasion or if she's going to step back and let Cyborg dictate the pace like a lot of other girls have.
Right.
I think with Amanda, when she pushed Amanda back, Amanda hit her and Cyborg got rocked and Amanda pressed forward and she thought she was going to hit her back and it became this exchange. It was a very sloppy fight, I think, from both sides, but Amanda has big dogs and was able to land the clean, good punches.
And timing.
Her
timing
yes.
is fantastic.
What she did very well in that fight was that she made sure that she didn't blow her wad in wasteless punches. She was picking and choosing her shots. So she was making sure that they were landing versus just throwing, aimlessly and not landing. You see that a lot of times. People get rocked and the guy just comes and he smothers himself so much that nothing lands and the guy recovers and you're back to fighting.
Yeah. When I knew that Amanda Nunes was a fucking dangerous fighter was, first of all, the first round went there's a lot of fights where you saw it. You started to see it with Kat Zingano. The first round she almost had Kat Zingano out, but then she faded and then she got put away later in the fight, which just shows how tough Kat Zingano is.
Yes.
Kat Zingano's a fucking savage.
She's
too.
at Bellator now.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
Very happy to see her over there. But when Amanda Nunes beat the fuck out of Misha Tate and then strangled her, I was like, oh, god damn.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And then when the Raquel Pennington fight's an underlooked fight because Raquel Pennington is as fucking tough as they come. That lady impresses the shit out of me. And the fact that she was able to stop her and beat her down before she stopped her. You know, you realize she was on another level at that point in time. But still, when the Cyborg fight, I had questions. I was like, is she going to be... Look what she did to Holly Holm. Cyborg just bullied Holly Holm.
Yep.
She was just on top of her, beating her down, and Holly is a phenomenal striker.
Yes.
And I was like, man, is Amanda... But the difference is Amanda is her hands.
Yeah.
Holly... has good power in her hands, excellent timing, good counters, but Amanda has like legit one-shot knockout power.
Yeah, I agree. I just would have liked to have seen them do a second fight because I think that Cyborg would have fought a smarter fight, and it would have been a different outcome.
She would have made the adjustments.
Yeah, she would have made the adjustments, not just made the adjustments, but we saw with Jermaine Duronami when Jermaine fought her. Then Amanda, as the fight goes on, she's not the same fighter.
Why do you think that she decided to move over to Bellator? Why do you think she didn't pursue the rematch?
Oh, you know the answer to that. Come on, Joe.
She didn't like Dana?
It's not just, you can't, I think the comments, to being treated like they're, certain ways, people talking behind her back, saying, calling her, a man, whatever it was. There's not just that, but then also too, a little bit of I think some of the mistreatment in that whole thing. The other thing as well, let's not, all that stuff aside, she's got a relationship with Scott Coker. She had it from Strikeforce, and they've always got along. He's always amped her, and you got to remember, he's the one that first put women's MMA on the big stage. Her and Gina Carano were the ones that made women's MMA that next level of what it could become.
There was something that happened between them where the UFC was like, we're getting out of the Cyborg business. I'm trying to remember what it was. I don't remember what happened, but there was some sort of a dispute that they had.
Was it before? I think it was before the Amanda Nunes fight.
No. They put out a video. Cyborg's boyfriend put out a video where she put words in Dana White's mouth. And they were fake.
Yep.
They mistranslated it on purpose, willfully, and then she had to apologize for it. And then the UFC was like, "Get the fuck out of here! You can't do that."
Yeah.
And that's when they released it.
But that wasn't her, right?
That's
that was
her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend and her management, I think, or something like that.
Well, her boyfriend is her manager.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what it was. So that's why she got out of the business. That's why the UFC got done with the Cyborg.
But here's the thing: is that when she hadn't lost in what? 15 years or some shit like that.
Since Gina Carano, well, before the Gina Carano fight, her first fight.
It was her very first fight she lost.
Yeah.
But so that first fight, she hadn't lost since then. It's been close to 15 years.
Yeah.
And to say that like now all of a sudden, because she had one loss after Amanda Nunes, when she lost to Amanda Nunes, that she's done, like she wants to fight easy fights. She wants to, Julia Budd is not an easy fight for her. No. And, but we go back to when I was talking about the narrative being that Dana shapes the narrative. The narrative is that, look, if you want to fight over there, you're going to have easier fights. And the press jumps on board and the fighters jump on board and it becomes an issue. That's why I feel like we're not seeing cross promotions.
Well, I just think it's a business decision. The UFC doesn't have any vested interest in blowing up Bellator and making them bigger. And Bellator would get bigger along the way. But I think Julia Budd hangs with any 145-pounder in the UFC, and I would like to see her fight in the UFC. I would like to see cross promotion with her as well. I just feel like it's just one of those things where it hampers the fans because the athletes, they're just not going to face each other.
Well, let me go into this. Is we already saw a cross promotion when UFC was basically asking, or I don't want to say begging, but they were trying to force the issue with Chuck Liddell fighting Vanderlei.
Yeah.
And remember that.
But they got fucked over because they actually sent Chuck over there, and then Pride didn't send anybody over here.
Yes. Here's the thing, we've already seen with Scott what he says he's going to do, he does. And that's a big reason when I actually had to fight Kawajiri, it was supposed to be, they sent Aoki over when it was Dream. And they sent Aoki over, and Scott was supposed to send Gilbert over afterwards to fight each other. So Aoki fought Gil in Strikeforce. And then after Gil beat him, he was supposed to go over there and fight him in a ring. That didn't happen. So I got a call on like 12 days notice, and Scott's like, can you do this for me? And I was like, I'm literally sitting at the fucking courtside of the Warriors game, eating chicken strips and drinking a beer. And I'm like, let me go home. I'm gonna run about 4 or 5 miles, see how I feel, and I'll get back to you. Call him that night at midnight, and he's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm good, I can go. So that's how I took the fight with Kawajiri on like 10 days notice. And just so, look, when people want to talk about how the Japanese do business and what happened with the UFC, I can understand. I can understand why they're hesitant to do cross promotion, because when I actually accepted that fight with 10 days notice, I was supposed to fight Aoki. But when I got there, they changed it to Kawajiri.
Wow, that's a big difference.
That's
in
a big
styles.
difference. But what they do is one's a wrestler and one's a jiu-jitsu guy, sure. But the other thing too is what they do is they say, hey, here's another amount of money. Here's a check for this if you switch and you take this guy.
It's the same with Khabib.
Yeah.
Oh, Khabib didn't fight anybody. No, motherfucker.
Yeah.
He makes them look like they're fighting me. That's the difference.
Look what he did to Justin Gaethje. That's all you need to know. If you say Justin Gaethje's a nobody, you're crazy. You watch that Tony Ferguson fight. Justin Gaethje's a fucking animal.
He's a savage.
And he just closed that gap. And he ate a lot of leg kicks too, man. He ate a lot of leg kicks that would, I mean, I don't know how many of those you can eat from Justin.
Right.
Maybe he had like 5 or 6 more in the tank.
Right.
Till you're on E. But he closed the gap and then wound up finishing with a triangle off of his back. I mean, god damn.
A serious question about this, because I went through it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So from the moment he got kicked, then he initiates the takedown. So it was a kick. He tried the first round. He did it off a head inside single. Didn't work. Second round, he tried it off a double from the outside leg kick. First round was an inside leg kick, hence the inside single. Didn't work. So then he goes to the double. It's 22 seconds from that till the finish. So 22 seconds, we're apart. 22 seconds later, you're unconscious. I mean, this is my question to you. Is that the best back take you've ever seen in MMA? Because what he does is when Gaethje is sprawling in this contest, he's not just sprawling. He is sprawling and turning so he doesn't get pushed into the fence. He was very diligent about that in the Alvarez and the Gaethje fights. You can go back and you can watch it. So in this fight, when you see the level change that Khabib hits, you see automatically Gaethje turn because he doesn't want to get turned that direction. But what Khabib does is he actually scoots under him, pulls him up, and then with his head posts him over, gets the hands to plant. Well, once the hands are planted, the double is over. He doesn't care about it anymore. Now he just wants the tight waist. And from the tight waist, he's holding, his elbows aren't flared. They're tight here, right? Like he's T-Rexing inside. At that point, you have created, if you're Justin Gaethje, putting your hands, you've created a stable structure for this guy to now mount. Plus, if you want to escape to the fence to like stand, he can control the ascent. So he goes, double, turns, pushes hands to the mat, forces Gaethje down, and then with his gable grip, then keeps it there and then replaces it with the hooks, and then turns it to a fake, not a real Joe Rogan, a fake head and arm triangle attempt, just so Gaethje gets his elbows away from his body. Then he chair sits to occupy the space, then throws the leg over, and then sits back and takes mercy upon him. As we learn later from Daniel Cormier, rather than armbar him in front of his mom's, I'm just going to triangle you because that's the merciful. This guy is out here taking fucking pity on his opponents. And he's doing back takes like that. He is, John Jones to me is the most accomplished fighter we've ever seen. Like the things accumulate over time. No one is as flawless as Khabib Nurmagomedov. Not even close.
I think that is the argument, right? Like, who is the GOAT? I think if you look at John Jones's early career, right? John Jones wins the title in 2011, and from then on has fought more fights as championship fights than he has other fights. So he's the most accomplished for sure. Wins the title, the earliest, youngest guy to ever win the title in the UFC. Beats Mauricio Shogun Rua, who's a legend. And then the way he dominates all these other fighters, up until you get to Alexander Gustafsson, you could make the argument that he had a similar career. You could make the argument, like if you look at what he did, John didn't lose any rounds. John was smashing people. You look what he did to Rashad Evans. You look what he did to Rampage Jackson. You look what he did to Lyoto Machida. You look what he did to everybody. Everybody he fought up until the Gustafsson fight. But the Gustafsson fight, then you have to say, well, how much slack do you give him for admittedly not training? Because it was a really close fight. He pulls it out in the championship round, even though he's out of shape, even though you talk to Greg Jackson, he didn't train for that fight. Didn't fucking train. Like, barely worked out, but definitely didn't go through a training camp. Still managed to beat one of the best guys in the division after getting taken down for the first time in his career. Then goes on a tear, right? You look at the way he beat Daniel Cormier in the first fight. Took him down. Like, who the fuck takes Daniel Cormier down, right? And then you look at him in the second fight. Even though it was ruled a no contest, we know what the fuck happened. He head kicked him and stopped him. You know, it was spectacular. You look at what John has done, then you have to take into account the things that didn't go that well. And we haven't seen those from Khabib yet. You have to take into account the fight like Thiago Santos, right? That fucker goes to a split decision. You're like, whoa, Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes thought he won the fight.
Right.
You know, real
I did
close.
too.
Real close fight. So those fights haven't happened with Khabib yet. And we don't know if they ever could. We don't know. right? Like right now, would you see flawless victory after flawless victory? You could maybe make the argument that Khabib lost 2 rounds his entire career. Maybe the second round against Justin, or
First round against Justin, you could argue.
maybe first round rather against Justin, and maybe the third round with Conor.
That's right.
That's it.
Right.
And either one of those didn't get cut, didn't get dropped, didn't get hurt.
Right. To never get cut and to never get dropped, I don't think folks understand what that means.
Crazy.
In a sport filled with, it's not a scientific measurement per se, right? Who gets cut the most or something, but in a sport built on unpredictability, on violence. St. Pierre went to wrestling to get away from all of that in large part, and then to never experience that, it's like, it is shocking beyond description.
Shocking.
I don't know how to explain that to folks. It's but to your point, the thing about Khabib where he falls short is that it's just an inevitability. Like, your run through 29 fights is the best run I've seen through 29 fights ever. But and John's not my best friend or anything, but I just don't. That is the best total resume I've ever seen.
John is the best resume.
It's not. I mean, I know he was getting all salty on Twitter, being like, these fucking Khabib fans. It's like, dude,
he shouldn't do that.
Oh, well, he shouldn't do it. But here's my point to John. It's like, dude, put the keyboard down for just a second. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to go to heavyweight, and you're going to probably win. I mean, I don't know if that's a guarantee, but let's assume that you do. All of the conversation, everything that happens right now is just recency bias. And Khabib retired, and his father died, and it was this incredibly sad and inspiring moment. Let the fucking guy have his moment, because when you have your moment, all of the worm is going to turn.
Yeah,
and then everyone's going to be like, John's the fucking greatest. He's going to get his, just not today at this moment.
Recency bias, that's real. Recent bias that's a real thing. Like, we just watched Khabib, and then the fact that Khabib did supposedly retire. Come on, son. I know you want some more.
Yeah, I know. I haven't eaten much, so my head is spinning a little bit.
That's all right.
Everyone asks me, like, when I go on, it's like, are you going to smoke weed? I'm like, there's no chance I'm smoking Joe Rogan's fucking super weed.
There's no chance I'm smoking it right now.
Salud.
I haven't done anything in a month. I had a couple glasses of wine last night, and I was like, woo.
Yeah, I'm feeling it a little bit. Gotta be careful.
The John Jones situation is also it's a contrast in personalities, right? Khabib, who's this really religious, very moral, ethical person who doesn't drink, he doesn't party, doesn't do anything, he just trains. He's always in phenomenal shape. He takes every fight incredibly serious. He's never been out of shape. He's never been fat. He's missed weight a couple of times earlier in his career, but he got that dialed in. He's just so dedicated. Whereas John is a wild man. He's just wild.
I mean, you talk about not training for for the Gustafsson fight, buddy. That ain't the only fight he didn't train for.
How about what he said to Cormier? I did coke and I still beat you.
And I'm like, I don't think he's lying. I mean, the stories I've heard, I don't want to repeat them because I cannot verify them.
No.
But I've heard stories like, if y'all think that was the one fight, he just like, oh, I'm going to pump the brakes this time. No, bitch. I mean, here's the other part about it. It's like, who's a guy, for example, who maintained dominance through the game and took, significant amounts of time off in boxing? Floyd Mayweather would be a great example of that.
Yeah.
But Floyd has been training as a family affair from adolescence, right? For the long part of his life. And he is so gifted that he can take time off, and the game is so developed that people aren't going to make warp speed development in his absence. And so they got a little bit better every time he took a little bit of time off, like the Maidana first fight with the corkscrew punch. That was a little bit of a wild card there. But in general, he was able to maintain that dominance. In MMA, the game changes rapidly, super fast, because people are still discovering best practices. In 2 years, people will not be doing the same kinds of things to the same degree they do now. The calf kick and its explosion is sort of an obvious example of that. John was doing things like not training between camps. I mean, that's something only elite boxers do because they've been doing this since they were 5-6 years old, and they can take the time to not necessarily do that. Whereas most MMA fighters are like, I'm a everyday martial artist. I just ramp it up. He would do nothing and then something and still go out there and beat world fucking champions in what at the time was the UFC's marquee division. That is out of this fucking world bonkers. I'm going to beat you as like a part-time guy?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You just couldn't wrap your head around it.
I wonder if maybe there's some benefit to it, because it's not like he got totally out of shape, but I wonder if there's some benefit to that, and that he's not getting beat up. He's not getting his joints wrecked, and there's
probably
there's a it's a real question of like what's the best way to approach it. Floyd talked about it apparently. This is one thing I can tell you. Dana told me that Floyd wants to make a deal in the UFC. like legitimately. And I go, did he? So I texted him. I go, is Floyd really talking about fighting MMA? He goes, yeah, he's fucking crazy. I told him he'd get killed, but he's still talking about doing it.
Whoa.
Faraz Sahabi teases GSP versus Mayweather or McGregor as next fight. We need a mega fight. Okay, let me just stop this nonsense right there. GSP just fought at 185 pounds. If you fucking really think that Floyd Mayweather is going to fight GSP, shut the fuck up. Just stop. Just stop it. Floyd Mayweather is going to be like, a pass? That guy's huge.
Yeah.
GSP's so big.
It would have to be like Jose Aldo
155.
or something.
You'd have to get GSP to diet down to 155, and he would be so depleted. And making 155, Floyd would light him up like a Christmas tree. If Floyd didn't light him up like a Christmas tree anyway, I mean, they're going to fight in MMA. He gets smushed 100%. There's no way
McGregor would
stopping.
never fight 185 GSP. No
But they
way.
might fight at 170 if the money was right. If
McGregor won't take it.
I don't know about that, man. That could be a mega fight. That could be a $20 million fight. Conor might want an extra 20. Spend a lot of money on Versace. He's always wearing furs and shit. Flying around in private jets. That shit's pricey, man.
What is the latest with McGregor? Like, what's going on like today?
Hashtag ballin'. That's what's going on.
Is that what he tweets?
He's on top of the world, man. Look, that guy, let him enjoy this. He's got plenty of time to come back to fighting. Just have fun, man. Stare at your watches. Take Instagram pictures of your dick. Who cares? You're the fucking man. You made $100 million. You're not even 30. Relax. Do whatever the fuck you want. No need to force him to come back and fight. But if he does come back and fight, if he thinks an MMA fight with GSP is a good idea, like, that's a big guy. He's very big.
Yeah.
George St. Pierre is one of the best fighters of all
He
time.
ain't gonna take that fight.
He's so fucking
No
good
way.
at grappling. But Conor might go, fuck it.
No.
Fuck it. Give me a couple months to put some
No.
weight on.
That's not a good fight for him.
But if that's where all the money is, who knows? I think Tony Ferguson is the fight. That's the fight I want to see now.
Of course.
Until I see what happens with Barboza and Nurmagomedov, right? The problem is, if Barboza and Nurmagomedov fight and Nurmagomedov smashes Barboza, he's got to be next in line for the title fight, right?
No.
You don't think so? Conor's not fighting.
Tony is the but
Conor's not fighting.
yeah, if he's then he has to
Right?
vacate, right?
What does it say here? Sorted rounds tonight at BG Ireland. He's training. I mean, he's definitely not fat. You look at him there; he's in shape for sure. I mean, but he might just be working on his skills. He's got $100 million. I would not be mad at a world fight if they decided to like strip him of his belt and have Tony versus Khabib for the undisputed title. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah, that will probably happen.
I would not be mad at that. I'd like that fight. Tony's so fun. He's so wild to watch, man. You know, like when he was fighting Kevin Lee, and he's just walking towards him with his hands down and just pot-shotting him and slowly wearing on him, slowly chipping him away. And then to finish him off his back, come on, man.
That's sweet.
How many people get finished off their back these days?
There was a lot of sweet things that he came up with right there, like working. You know, there's different ways you can get up off your back with the cage, or like basic wall walking and stuff like that. But you can't wall walk on everybody.
Right.
It all depends on where your level of wall walking is and how good is your opponent at countering that.
What did you
So,
think when Kevin Lee walked in with the obvious staph infection on his chest? Did you notice it?
I was like, cool. I hope he's weak.
Crazy he was forced to
Tony
fight.
said, they asked Tony, did you notice his staph? He goes, yeah, I was trying to punch it. But the way Tony got up off the cage,
Yeah.
when Kevin Lee put him up against the cage, he actually can openered him from the bottom in full guard. So Tony's head was against the cage.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Lee's head was right here. So he basically did like a Muay Thai clinch, like can opener from the
Right.
bottom. So he couldn't get hit. And then he had his left foot on the hip and his right leg was just around his ribs. And then at the right time, Kevin was naturally trying to pull out because he was holding him in. He couldn't hit him. He was safe against the cage. And then Tony put both feet on the hips, pushed him up, kicked up, and then just stood up. It was brilliant.
Wow.
Like, wow, we're gonna be doing that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be. Kevin Lee couldn't do anything. He had him exactly where he wanted him, against the cage, on his back, head pressed against the fence, but he couldn't do anything because Tony did a can opener on him. No one does that.
I know. He's an interesting guy, man.
That was the first time he ever did that, and it worked.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Now, kickboxing is huge in Europe. I mean, it's
it's
very big.
very big.
People, I mean, I had Rico Verhoeven on, and we discussed this, like how enormous kickboxing is in Holland and in Europe.
Yeah.
And in America, for whatever reason, it never caught on. I don't understand it. I've been a fan of Glory, and I've been trying to tell people about them for a long time.
I cannot blame USA for that because they legalize MMA. So MMA is just more attractive for people, you know. The people who doesn't know shit about fighting, they just watch MMA is like, oh, two people are fighting. Yeah, that's interesting, you know. Kickboxing and like things like sport like Muay Thai, kickboxing. If you doesn't know the rules, it's kind of you just watch and you don't understand. You don't understand. But MMA is more easy to understand, you know.
Yeah, it's just
people
a fight.
It's just
Wild
a
fight.
between two people. So I really don't know why kickboxing is not is not maybe at the same level as MMA in USA.
Well, what's crazy to me is boxing is very respected in the United States, and MMA is very respected. But one of the things that people like about MMA is stand-up. They like the striking.
Yeah.
But the best striking is like Glory.
Yeah.
Or Muay Thai. Like the best elite kickboxers are the best strikers.
That's right. But I think people love the cage. People love the blood. So small gloves. You know, that's what people like. People don't like how you say that, knockdown. They like KO or nothing.
Right.
Yeah, they don't like the break and 1, 2, 3. No, they like to watch KO. So I think that's what they prefer.
Yeah.
MMA.
Well, is there a movement at all to try to get full MMA legalized in France?
I think in January it's gonna be okay.
So they're gonna have to allow strikes on the ground. Though,
Yeah,
in France?
everything.
Soon.
Soon in January.
Yeah.
So,
in January.
In January.
In
yeah.
January. Oh, okay.
And I think UFC gonna come in.
So there'll probably be
in
UFC
France.
in Paris.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I think so.
That sounds wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the more guys like you get involved in MMA, though, the more it complicates kickboxing, though, because like when elite fighters, world champions like yourself, make a jump to MMA, then people might look at kickboxing as a stepping stone instead of as a valid individual sport.
Yeah, that's right. But you mean when a guy step from kickboxing to MMA?
Yeah, that like maybe people won't care as much about kickboxing because they'll look at it as a stepping stone to MMA.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, that's right. That's what I wanna do also, because I think for a guy from kickboxing to go in MMA, it's not really difficult for him if he learn the ground game.
And wrestling takedown defense.
Wrestling takedown defense. If you learn that, it's gonna be more simple than a guy who come from Muay Thai. You know, Muay Thai is really different like kickboxing. Kickboxing, when you fight in kickboxing, you move a lot already. You're not a standing target. You know, instead of Muay Thai, if you watch Muay Thai fight, they don't move a lot. You know, they stay still, and the fight is all about power kicks, power punches. So
why do you think that's different? Because of the clinch, because of elbows and knees, like
because of the movement. The movement in MMA, they stay still, and in kickboxing there is no break. You know, they just keep fighting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and in Muay Thai it's more like one elbow, knees, and also. But the clinch is good for MMA because then, you know, in MMA,
the Thai clinch.
Yeah, of course, this is good for MMA.
Now, in France, is it easy to get wrestling? Do you get wrestling training?
In France I get grappling training. I think here in USA you call that BJJ no-gi.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, no-gi.
Yeah. That's why I'm training in France. It's
What about takedowns or takedown defense, wrestling?
But you know, this style of no-gi training I get is a little bit different, like as BJJ, because we start on our feet, and we used to wrestle, and then after the takedown we continue. You know,
Right.
so it's not like an Olympic wrestling,
Right.
but they call that luta libre. I don't know
Okay.
if you heard about it.
Yes. No, luta libre is what they call it in Brazil, but I know what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. So in America, most Brazilian jiu-jitsu, they start on the ground already. They'll start on the knees or something like that to avoid accidents. Because, you know, you got a class full of 40 people rolling around together, and they're trying to tackle each other and collide, and people blow their knees out and things along those lines.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm training in Paris. Very big team. The coach is Mehdi Othman. He's very good, and he say for the future I'm very, very, very good. I learn fast. I learn very fast.
Of course. You're an elite athlete.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather was saying during the fight, Floyd Mayweather said, there's no tap outs in boxing. There's no tap outs in boxing. Listen, dude, if you got an MMA, you'd fucking tap out.
Oh, yes, he
You'd
would.
either tap out or you'd go to sleep or get your arm broken.
Yeah.
You don't want either one of those things to happen.
No.
Yeah.
You know,
stop.
look, talk is great, but
It is.
You know,
It's great.
You know, I will give them credit as far as the way they hyped that fight.
Woo.
You know,
Yeah.
it got out of hand at some point.
It's exciting.
But you got to look
Yeah.
at, you know, some of the things that were done.
At the weigh-ins, Connor with a boner in his underwear. I don't know what he did to give himself a boner, but he's like got at least a 3/4 boner.
He's got a chub.
He's got a chubby,
Yeah.
and he's screaming at him in his face like, "Whoa, what is happening here?"
Yeah, he was being attacked from both angles. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, but it didn't help in the long run.
You knew.
Yeah.
Come on. Anybody
Just think about all that crazy talk about. Dana said it's 100% bullshit, but the crazy talk about Connor and Floyd fighting in an MMA cage with boxing gloves, no kicks, no takedowns,
Ridiculous.
no submissions.
It's
But you can
ridiculous.
clinch.
It's ridiculous because the clinch is going to do you what good in that you can dirty box. And, you know, I'm going to tell you, Connor has the ability to dirty box better than Floyd because Floyd's not used to doing it.
Yeah.
It's a different element. But look at if you're going to come into another man's sport, quit trying to change the rules.
Yeah, just come into the sport.
Connor went into his sport. He didn't change any of the rules. Now, he did some things illegally. I'll give him that. You know, he's hitting him with hammer fists. He's
Right.
doing things you go, you can't do that, Connor.
Right.
But for the most part, he's following those
For the
rules.
most part.
Okay?
All you'd have to do is just say no takedowns and no submissions and no grappling.
I said before the
and I'd be
first
like,
one.
Go ahead.
Before the first one, I said, no, I don't want to see Connor boxing. I said, tell you what, let's make it halfway even.
Yep.
Kickboxing.
Yeah.
Okay? No takedowns, no ground,
Yeah.
but he gets to get kicked.
Yeah.
It would have changed that fight.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I
Yeah.
don't look. Floyd's smart. I don't blame him for doing what he's
No.
doing. He's a money-making machine. He's smart.
He's not going to do anything stupid.
No.
If anything, he'll wait for some other boxer to get really popular, or other MMA fighter to get really popular and box him.
Smart man.
I mean, he literally might not ever box a boxer again. I mean, he made his biggest payday ever fighting a guy with zero professional fights.
Well, zero professional boxing
Fights.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
It's absolutely crazy.
What was his payout? What did they say overall? It's like something more.
$300 million.
$300 million? That's a good piece of change. That'll tide him over for about 2 years. And I'm not even kidding.
Hey.
That guy spends money like water. It's crazy.
He does. He's crazy.
It's fun to watch, though. It's fun to watch him spend all that money, too. It's like, Jesus Christ.
You know, I watch him spend it. I cringe.
Yeah.
I can't. It's like, oh, I can't even believe you're paying that money for that. Why? It's
Well,
like
every
I don't get it.
boxer like that goes broke. They all go broke. It's
And
just a
that's-
matter of time.
That's what I don't want to see.
Yeah, but don't you?
No,
Isn't it
I
kind of
don't.
fun? I mean,
No.
is it terrible that he has to get a job like regular folks? Is it terrible? I mean, what is there's something about that, right? If you go to a fucking job site and you see a guy who's working as a finished carpenter, you don't go, oh, that poor guy's got to work as a finished carpenter. You go, hey man, what's going on? He goes, hey, how you doing? Everybody's fine. Everybody's fine with that.
Okay.
But if that guy used to be Floyd Mayweather, and now he's working as a finished carpenter, you're like, look at that poor bastard. Gotta hammer those nails down.
No. What's it like? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hit that. Oh
Yeah.
Smash
Look at
that
you,
nail.
you fucking loser. You used to be on top of the world. Shouldn't have spent all that fucking money, Floyd. Right? Isn't that weird? There's a weird thing that people do.
Usman and Kobe will make space to throw punches, which could get them in trouble. against somebody like him because his
Right.
power in his left hand is fucking nasty.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Like if you pull up, if you see the fight with him when he wobbled or dropped Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
Nick Diaz don't get dropped the shit.
I know.
Like that.
But how crazy is Nick Diaz? Nick Diaz forced him into a dogfight.
That's just
forced him into a dogfight.
And that was one of the most freakish, weirdest knockouts.
It was amazing.
But the thing is, that was when UFC had first taken over Strikeforce,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting there cage size, and I'm thinking to myself, this is hands down the greatest MMA 1-round fight I've ever seen in my life.
It was amazing.
Ever.
It was
Ever.
amazing. He just wore him out.
Yeah.
But he just put that fucking Nick Diaz pace on him and wore him out. But when he clipped him and rocked him and dropped him, I was like, oh my God, Paul Daly's going to stop Nick Diaz? This is crazy.
This is nuts. This is nuts.
But just the fact that Nick fought him that way.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick didn't try to take him down. Nick didn't try to submit him. He just went after him. Just like, come on, let's do this.
But let's not forget the history of Nick Diaz, man.
Yeah.
It all started with Robbie Lawler. The history of Nick Diaz started with Robbie Lawler. Like, come
Yep.
on, motherfucker, I got
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And that's what elevated him to that next level.
I called that fight. He walked into the octagon. He started yelling, "Stockton, motherfucker, Stockton!" and Robbie Lawler's like, "What is happening here?
Yeah.
Like, what is this?" Like, Robbie Lawler was this dark destroyer. Everybody was
Yep.
scared of him. He was a spooky dude. He was flatlining people. And Nick Diaz, not only was he not scared of him, he was talking mad shit to him. He was fighting him. He's like, "What, bitch? What we doing, bitch? What
Yeah.
we doing, bitch?"
And people don't understand this. It's so funny. I was talking to Big John the other day on our show, and I was saying, like, hey, man, the guys that I didn't got so damn tired when guys talk to me. It stresses me the fuck out, man. I'm like, I just start sweating, and I'm like, this is... Shut the fuck up. We're supposed to be fighting. I couldn't believe it. I was like, dude.
Do you remember when Nick Diaz did that to Frank Shamrock? And
Yes.
Frank Shamrock was like, "I can't believe this is happening."
Because it's usually Frank that does it.
Yes.
I trained with Frank for years, and I'm like, I'm in his guard, and he's like, come on, Josh, get up. Like, throw punches, do something. I'm going to fucking sub you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you're just like, shut up, man. I just want to punch you harder, and it makes you more tired.
And the fact that Nick was doing it and out cardioing him.
Yes.
Frank's thing was always be in the best
Yep.
shape so you could put, like when he beat Tito.
Yeah.
Just put that pace on him and Tito couldn't keep up and then he finished him.
Yeah, Frank was not the same guy when he fought Nick
No.
at that time. But let's be real, like at that time, like it was awesome to see somebody like Nick do that. Because Nick, though, if you recall at the end of the fight, he picks Frank up. He's like, "You're a fucking legend. Do
Yeah.
not sit down there like that. You're a fucking
Yeah.
legend." And that's what people talk to me all the time about my fight with Nate. And I say, look, man, I have nothing but respect for both those guys. Those guys are fucking animals. Not only are they animals, but what I love is I love people. We were talking about Big John being a good guy before we came on the show.
Yeah.
And Big John McCarthy. And I said, absolutely. And when I think of guys that are good guys, I think of guys that stick by their friends no matter what.
Yes.
You got to remember that brawl that happened on CBS, right? We were talking about that as well. That brawl with Mayhem Miller, Jake Shields, Nick Diaz. But guess what? That whole scrap pack, they die for each other.
Yes.
And you can't knock friendship like that. And I look at those guys, and they're really good people. From Gilbert Melendez, his wife Carrie, Nick and Nate, and Jake. Jake's like still one of my good buddies. Gil is as well. But even though I don't talk to Nate anymore, really, but it's still, I have nothing but respect for those guys themselves. They did it on their own, and they're fucking amazing. I will buy their pay-per-view every single time they fight, no matter what.
Agreed. And, Nick Diaz changed the game in terms of his elite cardio. He did something that was a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that new thing was he's not going to hit you with 100% power. He's going to hit you with 50%. But he's going to hit you twice as much, and you're never going to get to breathe. And he's going to stay on top of you, and he's going to talk to you the whole time. So he's going to fuck with you psychologically.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to disrupt your breathing by constantly hitting you. And then once he realizes you're hurt, then he's digging to the body. Then he's putting it on you. And on top of that, black belt jiu-jitsu skills, really good wrestling takedown defense, fucking chin made of iron, and an unstoppable will. His will to beat you was just unstoppable. When Nick was at the top in Strikeforce, to this day, I think he's one of the best fighters that's ever done it.
Yep.
To this day.
No, I agree. I think a lot of that unstoppable will, though, comes from him doing triathlons. That's that desire. Like, hey, I cannot stop, otherwise I lose my time. And I'm only got 5 more miles or 8 more miles until I get to the bike, or until I get to the run, or until I get to I'm done with the swim. Those are things in your mind as an athlete. You're always thinking like, I'm almost there.
Yes.
Okay, I'm only going to run till the 2-minute mark. Okay, I'm only going to run to the 5 minute. You set goals for yourself as you go. Shit, I smashed a goal. Okay, one more goal ahead. Those are the things that top athletes do, and I feel like that's what he's done with his career. He used triathlons to help get him there.
Yes.
He was always good, always nasty, like good jiu-jitsu, great, phenomenal guillotines. His game has always been really good. When he upped his game in that in boxing and the pace, like you're saying, just the touch, now bam, bam, touch, bam. That's next level boxing that we hadn't seen in MMA at the time.
Yeah, and sparring with Andre Ward on a regular basis
Yes.
too. I mean, he did. Look, he did really change things. He really changed things, particularly with that fucking cardio of his. He has some spooky cardio.
Do you notice a big difference between like female athletes and male athletes? Like, okay, because fighting is a pretty, I don't want to say exaggerated, but it's an interesting thing where, you know, you have men and women kind of differently, but doing the same thing, if you will.
Yeah.
Do you notice a difference in their mentality?
Well, they vary so much individually. That's what's interesting. It's like you'll find even male fighters who are like super laid back, and then you find other ones that are really intense and super emotional, and it's really hard to tell. Like there's Gunnar Nelson is a guy from Iceland. You know who he is?
I know who he is. Yeah.
A fantastic jiu-jitsu guy. You cannot get that guy to change his expression. It doesn't change. You can punch him, kick him in the balls. He stays stoic. He's a weird guy.
Yeah.
He's very on one side of it, and then there's like guys like Conor McGregor, who's also his training partner, who's on a completely different side of it. He's screaming and yelling, talking shit to everybody, and you know that's part of his flair.
Right.
You know, they vary so widely, and that's true with girls too. Some girls are brash and outrageous, and they get in other girls' faces and put their knuckles on their nose, and they're at the stare down, and other girls bow and they hug and they take selfies together. It's like everyone has their own sort of approach to it.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It is interesting. Fighting intrigues me in that I think it's interesting that you're trying to be offensive and defensive at the same time, dealing with fear, like all these things happening simultaneously. And I then I look at it one step further with a female, because I don't know. I'm interested to know how if a female can fight from not a non-emotional place, but without her emotion. Like just like, okay, I'm in my male, I'm in my athlete, and I'm not going to be like, oh, she didn't just kick me in the ear, you know, and like freak out. You know what I mean? Like, because I think about myself and I'd be like, you know, like I've only been in one fight my whole life, and the girl hit me in the face, and when I saw my blood, I was like, oh no, she did not just hit me in the face, you know, and then went crazy. But if these girls could be like, because they're so well trained as an athlete, how that can supersede like or override actually like this that feminine impulse of like you know, a reaction.
That's a masculine impulse too, though. I think it's a human impulse. If a guy punches you in the face, you get furious. It's so hard for people to not get emotional when they get hit.
Yeah,
because you want to get it back.
That's a good point.
It's a very bad way to react in a fight, to fight with emotions, because you expose yourself.
Right.
You leave yourself open for counters. You just you miss your rhythm. You're not as deceptive in your emotions. You're too obvious in your pattern, and somebody times you. You get hit a lot more. Yeah, it's a big problem with fighters. That emotion is a very big problem, and the wanting to break people, like letting them hit you so that you could show them that they can't hurt you. That's a masculine thing too. Stupid. It's very stupid. Take it on the face on purpose, and then just like, come on, hit me.
That's what you have. Yeah.
And then that's a terrible emotion though, because you can get completely knocked unconscious doing that. Happens all the time. It's just the smart thing to do is to fight with correct technique and with a correct strategy, meaning you have an understanding of how to execute best. It's not to just wade in and let bombs fly. It's you have to be very precise in your tactics. You got to be very smart.
I think it's interesting though, those sports where there is that. I mean, listen, versions of it is football. You know, living with Laird, obviously. You know, he always says he appreciates Mother Nature because it's like you make good decisions, you're rewarded. You make bad decisions, you pay a price. But I think it is very interesting when you have two humans strategically trying to deconstruct one another. The chess, the physical chess that goes on, like looking at it from another athlete's point of view. I think it's a unique person that wants to put themselves in that situation.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I understand almost like, you know, a surfer and a wave and a rock climber and a mountain. I get that. Like, I'm going to be a part of that. But I find it really interesting. And even sort of, I'm even more curious about women like who say like, yeah, this is going to be my sport.
They vary so widely. Like there's Holly Holm, who's
she just seems like awfully sweet.
She's so
She
sweet.
seemed like she'd bring you cupcakes or
Meanwhile,
something.
she'll murder you. She'll kick your fucking
Well,
head
I saw
clean
that.
off.
I mean, listen, I saw that kick, but then it's like, I'm so sorry I made you these after, like chocolate chip cookies. It's like, okay, I'll get it, when I come
Yeah.
back from the hospital.
Right.
I don't know. It is interesting when you see girls like that.
Yeah, well, they're all different.
I always want to know, do they have brothers? Like, were they rabble rousing and
Right.
that their whole time, and they learned to play and it wasn't personal, and like a little contact was okay.
Floyd Connor talk. There's a open bet already. You
Floyd
can make a bet now.
Mayweather applying for MMA license wants 6 to 8 months to train.
He's screwed.
You can make a bet on it if you want.
This is in my opinion, this is a 40% proposition, which means it's 40% likely that he might actually do this. The reason why he might do this is because I think they will give him an ungodly sum of money. I mean, an ungodly sum. And I think they should. I think that if the UFC can talk Floyd Mayweather into going into an MMA ring, first of all, they should give him everything they can get their greasy paws on to get him to fight Conor in an MMA fight. Just say, look, we can give you CM Punk. We'll give you CM Punk for $500 million. This is a lot of money, but you can go through that in 5 years. Instead, how about we give you Conor McGregor for a full Billy?
And we'll give you 6 to 8 months to practice jiu-jitsu.
6 to 8 months to just figure out how you're going to get fucked up.
You'd be screwed.
He wouldn't just be screwed. That's unfair to for people that have been screwed. You would need a way more outrageous example. It's not just getting screwed. He would someone said it should be a 1,000 to 1. That's not high enough. It's not high enough. If Conor McGregor was going to fight Floyd Mayweather in MMA, it is as close to 100% as anything ever gets ever. Because if you think Floyd is all of a sudden going to become this fucking one-punch destroyer like John the Beast Mugabe in the 1980s or whatever the fuck that was, if you think that's going to happen out of nowhere, you're crazy. That's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is he's probably going to punch Conor in the face a couple of times. It's probably going to suck, but Conor's going to get a hold of him, and then he's going to be like a baby. And if that doesn't happen, he'll kick Floyd's legs out from under him. He'll kick his legs sideways. He'll kick them from the outside. He'll kick them from the inside. He'll stay way the fuck away from any sort of a range where Floyd can punch him. It'll be a completely alien range for Floyd. And every time Floyd goes in, front kick to the stomach. Boom, front kick to the stomach. Boom, front kick to the stomach. How many of those can you take? Okay, boom, inside leg kick. Boom, outside leg kick. He's laughing at you now. Now he's talking shit, and you realize you got to get past those legs. You can try to close the distance. Boom, spinning back kick to the liver. Fuck. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? You're going to be picked apart until he decides to take you to the ground and cut your face open with elbows. How about that? How about he pins your right arm down with his left shin, gets on top of you, and just starts smashing the edge of the elbow into your eye sockets, into your nose, cuts across your forehead, slices you open like a fucking melon. You don't have a chance. No one has a chance that hasn't had a long history of grappling and getting kicked. It's like a regular boxer is like, especially the best ever like Floyd, is phenomenal at what he does. But if you put takedowns and kicks into that, it changes everything. Changes everything. He'd be fucked.
I wonder if he's done any training at all.
Well, I know that he's talked to Tyron Woodley. And Tyron Woodley was apparently willing to help him prepare. That would be very interesting because Woodley's had some issues with Conor. I don't think he's going to fight Conor, though. I think if he does choose to fight MMA, I really believe the correct move is he fights someone like CM Punk. Because with CM, you got a guy he's been training in MMA for a long time now. It's been a few years, not a long time, but a few years now. He had one MMA fight in the UFC, but was very overmatched. It really wasn't fair, for him. Didn't make any. That kid, I mean, it's just the difference between the two of them. Mickey Gall is a real professional elite fighter. I mean, he can beat really good guys. and he's just not in that world. Like CM Punk's a 40-year-old guy who is a professional entertainer, who is basically a beginner.
Right.
But he knows enough where you would bet money on him. He knows enough where you're like, imagine if CM Punk, who is a big guy, he cuts down to 170. And compared to Floyd, Floyd's fought it, like, I think he started his career, I want to say 130, 135. Well, go to Floyd Mayweather's beginning fights. But at the very least, he's definitely fought at 145 as a grown man. He's fought at 155. CM Punk's way bigger. He's just a way bigger guy. So if he could figure out a way to get the fight to the ground and like lock in something simple, like a guillotine, if he has a good guillotine, that's what I would say. If I was gonna work with a guy like that, I would say we're gonna concentrate on one fucking choke, and we're gonna get that thing down to like laser beam, perfect precision. So just if you just spent all your time doing like one Marcelo Garcia style choke, just figured out one good choke, one where you know that if you get that chin down, you tuck it in and slap it on, one choke, whatever it is, that you know how to close that fucker up 90% of the time on people that know how to defend. There's a lot of guys who have that. Like maybe they'd have a triangle, or maybe they have a head and arm choke's a good one. That's a good one to master. Some guys just finish most people with like that one choke. If he just had that and just got Floyd to the ground and just got his neck, it's super possible that he could win. Like, it's possible that he could win. But it's also possible that Floyd can win. That's what makes that interesting. Because Floyd is still one of the best boxers of all time, if not the best. Still a fucking elite athlete. Still light speed in there. Like, with his footwork and his movement, his head movement, he's so fast. He's going to be way faster than CM Punk. So if CM Punk can't get a hold of him, and every time he moves in, he gets his face lit up, pop, 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 with a dude who's fast as fuck with 6-ounce gloves. Now he's got 4-ounce gloves on, very little padding, and he's catching you right on the chin, pop, and you can't do shit about it. You're trying to close the distance, and he's stutter stepping and moving in front of you, and CM Punk is not like the best kicker in the world. I'll buy it.
But he'll have to fight Mayweather if he comes to MMA. That would just have to be...
No. You mean you'd have to fight Conor?
Conor.
No, he wouldn't.
You don't think so?
No, he'd get killed. He would literally get killed.
I know, but
he would get smashed.
If he ends up doing MMA, you know everyone wants to see that.
No, that's what everybody wants to see, for sure.
That or Ronda and him fight.
That would be a good fight. Yeah. I don't think he's going to do it. I don't think he's going to fight McGregor ever in MMA, but I think he might fight CM Punk. I believe that. I believe that could happen. I know that's not even like official talk, but I really believe that can happen. It sounds crazy, I know, but the whole thing sounds crazy. It sounds crazy to think that he could fight anybody in MMA, that he would be willing to do it. He must know something. Because he could just go into boxing. He must know that his time as a boxer is just done.
I don't know about that, but
you are. Listen, man, it's an honor to have you in here.
Thank
honestly.
you. You know what?
Aside.
I've been watching your show for a long time, and you're a contrarian thinker. I love it, and you've prompted a lot of people to think differently, right?
Maybe. I think information prompts people to think differently. You know?
Well, when they get pounded with it enough and hear it enough,
yeah,
eventually it starts to sink in, right?
Yeah, I think so, man. And when you talk about guys who have been around. Like you are one of the real pioneers of MMA. You know, it's one of the reasons why I really wanted to have you in here. I remember back when you were fighting. I remember back when you fought Matt Hume, and what was that like? And
Extreme Battle.
Yeah, that was John Peretti's thing. I mean, dude, you've been around. You were the early days, bare knuckle.
Yeah. No, you know, and the thing is, I always tell people.
Dan Severn?
Yeah, we fought to a draw.
Who was 270 pounds at the time?
Yeah, and he was still obviously pretty tough back then, still pretty mobile. It was not a fun fight, I can tell you, carrying his weight around for 30 minutes, but it was tough. But Matt Hume is the guy that made me realize that I wasn't a fighter yet, because I was 15-0. I think I was ranked 4th in the world. I fought Matt, ragdolled him for basically the whole first round, threw him around like a ragdoll, but he was just biding his time and waiting, and he caught me with some knees and damaged my nose. And the referee and the doctor stopped the fight, because back then it was very controversial. They didn't want a guy with a crushed nose or whatever. And so they stopped the fight. But I realized at that point he knew a lot more than I did.
Yeah, that was an interesting fight because I totally disagree with that stoppage. And I was watching, I was like, this is crazy. How could you stop a fight for a broken nose?
Well, and I got headbutted. I used to spar with a lot of pro boxers, and I got headbutted by a pro boxer, and he separated the cartilage from the bone. So that gap is still there. So that's what they felt. My nose was bleeding a little bit, but so that's why they stopped it. So.
Right, but broken noses are just
It
normal.
happens, right.
And it's not dangerous. It's like maybe somebody saw those movies where you like remember in a movie a guy would hit the bottom of a guy's nose and drive the bone up into his brain.
It's like Mike Tyson talking about it, right?
Yeah, he did.
He hit him like this and push the bone up through the brain.
That might be the worst Mike Tyson impression I've ever heard. I'm gonna let that go though.
I'm doing my best, man.
Yeah, but back then, nobody really knew like what was dangerous, what wasn't dangerous. It wasn't like a body of fights that we could draw upon.
And I was doing televised debates with politicians at the time.
Were you really?
To keep the sport legal in the state that I was scheduled to fight in. So think of how stressful it is to train for a fight, stay healthy, try and pay your bills, do all the stuff you're doing. And at the same time, I'm debating politicians in that state who are trying to pass a bill to ban the sport that I'm scheduled to fight in that state. I'm panicking. I'm freaking out. So I'd do my homework, and I'd get in debates like Representative Bolin from Illinois. By the time we got done with the debate, he goes, I'll agree with Mr. Militich. He's obviously, I think they expected to go into a debate with a punch-drunk boxer.
Right.
And by the time the debate was done, I'd crushed him, and he's like, well, maybe if we could just do away with headbutts. That was his rebuttal at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I see how they think, and I see that thought, but I think today, even to this day, I don't mind headbutts.
I don't either, because you train for them.
Yeah.
If they're legal, that's what you're training for.
And it's a legit technique. Like, why is it okay to slam your elbow into someone's face, but it's not okay to slam your forehand into someone's face?
Right.
And it's very effective. If a guy's tying you up in the guard and his head's right there, you can do that,
right.
And he can't really do it back to you.
I watched when I was in my first no holds barred tournament in Chicago. God, I don't even remember the name of it anymore. It's been so long. But I saw a guy get headbutted 42 times in the first round, and he ended up winning with a triangle.
Wow.
He ended up winning the fight. It was Marcel Lovrich versus this guy named Johnson, Mike Johnson, I think his name was. Marcel Lovrich ends up losing after crushing him with headbutts. Mike Johnson's in the shower. They're running cold water on him, trying to wake him back up, and he collapses, and they have to throw in an alternate. Right?
Wow.
But it was, headbutts obviously were legal then. So.
Wow. Yeah, headbutts, like, that was Mark the Hammer Coleman's
Knees
move.
on the ground.
Knees on the ground, knees
Right.
to the head on the ground.
Yeah.
But, I mean, think about when Coleman was in his prime, he was all about headbutts. And when he fought Maurice and he took Maurice down, that was back in the days when headbutts were legal.
Yeah.
And Maurice Smith, he defended against all that.
Doing all of this.
Yeah, it's just another technique.
Yeah,
But without that technique, it's sort of like when I when I realized that Taekwondo was very limited was when I started working out with kickboxers. And I started getting punched in the face, and I was like, "Oh no! Like, what have I learned? I've learned this, thing that is only good if somebody doesn't punch you in the face. Like, this is terrible."
But you were an open thinker, obviously, and you realized. So the thing was, with early MMA, everybody was so tied to their technique. It's like being tied to a religion and
Right.
refusing to see something else.
Yeah,
right?
there was a lot of that.
So guys who are Taekwondo experts, wrestlers, this, that, they were so attached to their art that they refused to learn anything else, and they just die because of it.
Yeah.
Right? They'd get crushed because of it. And I just early on went, these guys are dumbasses. Why wouldn't you want to know how to do
Yeah.
a lot of things? You got to have a big toolbox.
Well, there was always a lot of pride in your art, right? There was always a lot of guys like wrestlers who were only into wrestling or kickboxers only into Muay Thai. They just want to stand up. They didn't want to go to the ground. They just wanted to stand up. And that just costs you in the long run, especially when you see like a real complete fighter, like a guy like Mighty Mouse. Like a guy like Mighty Mouse is the top of the heap.
Trained by Matt Hume, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. And he can do everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a wrestler. It doesn't matter if you're a kickboxer. You're fucked. You're fucked everywhere with that guy.
Yeah.
And it's because he's got this just incredibly well-rounded skill sets. And I think the days of the specialists, I think, they're still kind of here.
I'm
There's still a
surprised
few
that that's
guys.
still the case.
Yeah, there's a few guys that can still pull it off. But the guys that can pull it off are like the Damian Mayas or the Wonder Boys.
Yeah.
Like Wonder Boy's just such an elite striker that is, if he can keep the fight standing, he can kind of work a lot of guys.
And because so many guys have not done karate and things like that,
Right.
he's like a Rubik's Cube they can't figure out.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he's long in that weird sideways stance with that front leg.
Yeah.
The guys who have a good front leg, like that karate style, point fighting style, that they're used to blitzing in with that good front leg, very hard to gauge that distance.
Yeah.
So different.
Yeah.
I think Woodley did the best job of anybody in fighting him. And I think that's like a roadmap for it because like people booed Woodley and gave Woodley a lot of shit. But look, Woodley's the one who hurt him in both fights.
Right.
And that's the way you got to fight that guy. You can't just charge after that guy.
And the criticisms of Woodley, in my mind, I think, look, it's a two-man dance, right? Woodley kept his title.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's all that matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm the champ, I'm just trying to keep my title. I'm doing enough to win. I'm not there to be the most exciting fight. That was my mentality because I knew because I fought totally different before I got to the UFC. I was just a psychopath and go out and just go 100 miles an hour until the guy was done.
Right.
But once you get in the UFC, then it's, okay, we can cut you if you lose.